Okay, let's see who we're doing next. Already did Gemini. Already just did Aquarius. Taurus we've done. Cancer we've done. Virgo we've done. Leo's done. Aries, it's your turn. Please check the description box for everything you need to know. There is a super comprehensive site for running your natal chart, which you'll need to, do if you want to know your rising moon Venus sign and don't know that. Please do check your rising moon and Venus sign for additional messages, because chances are, if you're here, it's because Aries is your sun sign. We are going to trial a new spread that I made. So if you see me looking up here, it's because I have a printer, a piece of printer paper with a crudely written out map of what I wanted to do using a Sharpie. It's called the the Tower, which is like a spread that I decided to make so that it's like a structure of a tower type thing. It's just for August. We're going to use the Shadowscapes Tarot for you. First, we're going to start with your magnetic poetry, and then we'll finish off with a Rebel deck oracle card. Today or tomorrow, I think tonight, I should be doing the shorts. I'm doing shorts now that are weekly, about a minute in length each. I try. So yeah, check that out as well. Aries, what is your magnetic poetry message for August? Please get out a pen and a piece of paper, because I'm just going to put these in list format. You can hit pause if you have to, so that you can get the message and jot it down, and then kind of de-scramble it as you see fit. Or unscramble it, I guess you could say. Okay. Okay, that's what I've got for you. Go ahead and jot those down. And we are going to be, like I said before, we're going to be using the Shadowscapes Tarot. Cards have already been pre-shuffled, but I'll go ahead and I will shuffle them more on cam so that we can make sure that you have the benefit of knowing they've been shuffled nicely. Got it. Perfect. Okay, so again, like I said, I devised this spread. It's a structural spread. So first line is the foundation. We'll kind of go through as we do the reading of the other positions in the spread, but the first line is the foundation, and that's what you're kind of building your structure on for the month of August. Now I only take flippers and jumpers, maximum of 3 per time. So I'm not going to let, with this, any card vomit be accepted as a part of the reading. So just as long as you're aware of that. And one more. Okay, and twist for fairness for you. Okay, Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. August's foundation. Your tower. What do we see for you? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. This will be interesting because I'm an Aries rising. So, let me just... Sorry. I noticed during the daytime, the adaptive light on my camera does these weird things when I'm recording. So, if you see me doing that, don't mind me. Okay, so we have the Emperor. Is this the Empress? Okay, so the Empress in the reverse. This is your invitation to check your North Node and the South Node if you do run your natal chart particularly probably your South Node. First of all, look what South Node means. I'm not going to get into it here, but this is my, because this card is a Libra and Taurus card, the Empress is Libra and Taurus. My North Node is Taurus and my South Node is Libra, so this is my North Node, South Node card. Not a lot of people have that, but yeah, well, as far as a tarot card representing both our North Node and South Node. But this is represented by Libra and Taurus. It's about artistry, creativity, connectedness with the mother principle, the need to connect with Mother Nature. In the reverse, it is absolutely about an absence of connection with Mother Nature, and a disconnectedness with your creativity. You're experiencing, you could potentially be entering August with an inability to exercise creative thinking, creative problem solving. You could, if you are an artist, you might be feeling like at an impasse with ideas. You may be feeling like there's a lack of inspiration, writer's block, that kind of thing. But the need to practice art is huge here. There's an absence of art in your life, or an absence with connectedness with the earth in some way, and it's bothersome to you. You might not be getting out in the garden as much as you would like. You might not be able to put your hands on the earth, your feet on the earth, and it's bothersome for you. But again, I still want you to look up your North Node and your South Node. First of all, look up what the North Node and the South Node are, and what their significance to a person, what they are, what the significance of those are, and then look up what yours are and what they mean for you personally. What else is in Aries' foundation? Because it's in the reverse, your South Node is going to figure strongly, I figure, but tell me more. And timing wise, this would be Libra. Libra season being of importance. I've been doing that recently. In the last like 3 months, I've been kind of attributing timings to the I always did with the timings to the zodiac sign that's associated with a card. But when it's in the reverse with its counterpart on the zodiac wheel, it was something that I intuitively started to do, and I think that it's been pretty accurate thus far. I don't know. I'm ruled by time because I'm a Capricorn sun, so. Yeah, no, it's a thing. It's a whole thing. Okay. What else? Okay. Yeah, double Libra. This is about balance, equilibrium, justice, fairness, and truth. How can you embody that yourself is the question. You could be encountering a situation in the courts, or where justice, truth, equilibrium, and fairness are important. You could also be dealing with a Libra individual. But yeah, we got double Libra here. Libra for timing would be mid-September to mid-October. But connection with a Libra individual could be a big deal here. How you connect with a Libra. Are you using creative thinking when you connect with a Libra? Is there something you need to do where you're connecting with the earth in conjunction with a Libra, where your Libran energy needs to connect appropriately? They are your zodiac counterpart, and so emphasis on thinking about the other as opposed to thinking of the self also. Okay. Page of Swords. This is often a communication about learning something, investigating something, ideas. It's also a communication, or not necessarily also a communication, but, investigation for the purposes of learning. Some people consider this an online stalker card, but it's also about observance for the purposes of learning, observing something or somebody so that you can learn something. Also air sign children. but communicating ideas from an intellectual space is also something here. There is a caution about having a silver tongue and to watch how cutting your communication might be. You might be communicating in a very visceral manner. Somebody might communicate something to you in a very visceral manner in regards to truth and fairness, or if something is fair, or they might be very cutting and calculated in their communications with you, especially if this is a Libra individual. They might snap at you. They might be a little too honest with you about something. Tell me more. Could be a legal matter. Could be about intellectual property, in fact. What else do we got? Two of Pentacles. You have two minds. This is about juggling two different energies, two different places where you want to spend your effort, time, energy, or invest. Remember, as long as you are ambivalent with the universe will be ambivalent with you, or ambiguous with you, rather. So it's important at some point for you to make a decision about where you would like to dedicate your energies. This is not always, it depends on the surrounding cards, but this is very rarely about juggling two energies that are people. It's usually about things on the tangible plane, like I said, either money, effort, energy, or time that you are dedicating to two different things, and you're divided in what your dedication is. Somebody could be viscerally communicating about that and how it's not equitable for you to be juggling those two things at the same time. Somebody could be demanding that you spend all of your time dedicated to one thing as opposed to dividing your focus in between two things. But they might say it in a not so nice way with that Page of Swords. They might have learned that through watching. You could be saying that to somebody else, though, too. Like, look, you either are doing this or you're doing that. You're not doing both. Your focus needs to be here. That could be a conversation that you're having with somebody after observing them in a specific way so that you could learn what they're dividing their time in between. They might be scattering their energy, and it could be that you are having that conversation with that individual about how they're not focusing their energy appropriately. Remember to watch for that silver tongue. Make sure that you're not too severe in your communication with them about it. It does not mean that it's not still important for you to say what you have to say, because we have the Queen of Swords here. Just remember not to be too cutting and clinical with it. Because it is still whatever is just, right, and fair. It's still, that still needs to, the truth needs to be communicated. It's just how you communicate it needs to be also fair, right? Is somebody, a Libra individual, doesn't think it's fair or equal the way one person does divide their focus and energies one way? Or they're not being held to the same standard? That could also be a conversation that's happening at this time. What else? Seven of Cups in the reverse. This is a focus on one emotional choice as opposed to when somebody has all of them. I have been talking recently about the physical manifestation of tarot cards in the real world. And this one was a couple of weeks ago. They were playing all the Indiana Joneses, and I think they are right now too on TV. And the Seven of Cups came up in the one where he's going for the Holy Grail, and he finally gets to the end, and he's in the cave and everything, and he has to choose which cup is the Holy Grail. And the other dude gets his girlfriend or whatever to pick a cup, and she picks a fancy dancy one that's all great. And then the dude takes a sip of it, because that's how you test if it's the Holy Grail or not. And he turns to dust. He disintegrates into a pile of dust. Yeah, that would be the physical manifestation of the Seven of Cups. You have all these cups and you have to pick which one is the holy grail. And if you choose wrong and you take a sip from the cup, you're going to disintegrate into a pile of dust. So here it's having the wherewithal and the wisdom to understand what is the correct cup for you, and not entertaining all of the glitz and glamour and distraction of options. So it's funny that that's the case, having discussed this and the ambiguousness of having divided energies, because here it's almost as if you have undivided attention and energy and dedication towards one thing of emotional fulfillment, as opposed to scattering your energies in between 7 different things that you don't necessarily know are worthy of your time, energy, effort, and emotional, output, right? Or investment rather. So yeah, it's almost like you're saying, you have to, and you cannot entertain all of these options. You must only entertain one. Your focus must be singular. You're either saying that or somebody's saying that to you. I love when the tarot does that. Shuffling backwards for you now, Aries. That only happens with Libra. That's interesting. So next position is about opportunities and challenges. It follows the old adage of when God closes a door, he opens a window. And so these would be the doors and windows within your tower, if you will. So what are Aries' opportunities and challenges within August? Opportunities and challenges for you, Aries. Okay. Queen of Cups, Cancerian energy. This is about being intuitive. You might be highly intuitive or emotionally mature. You might have a high EQ. Somebody who is watery, poetic, and yields from their cup when they know it is right, but also understands when it is best to hold back, to withdraw their cup and not offer their emotional support or their emotions to another human being. Again, like I said, Cancerian energy on that. But again, it's also about being intuitive as opposed to intellectual. Okay. Whoops. Now we got to take them both. So we have a King of Cups that came down on the board in the reverse. So this is somebody who, it's almost like the antithesis of this. This is Scorpio energy. So there's a little bit of an intensity to this. So it's almost as if this is an invitation for you to be in touch with your emotionally intelligent side and to give of the cup when it's appropriate. Hold back from the cup when you know it's inappropriate, and be committed to something of emotional promise. Follow your intuition. But this is saying watch the intensity is what I'm getting from it. Because sometimes, as we all know, Scorpios can be a little intense when it comes to when they choose. Like, it's like they also understand when it is best to yield from the cup, like to give of the cup, and then also when it's important to withdraw the cup. But when they give of that cup of emotional, support, or give somebody their heart, they can be super intense with it. If we were looking at timings here, this would be Taurus, because it is the counterpart. Like I said before, if we were doing timings, because this is Scorpio and it's in the reverse, we're looking at Taurus season. So something during Taurus season required your required emotional maturity, in contrast to, or maybe even in the face of, in the face of or in response to somebody's intensity with their emotions. This had to do with healing a broken heart. It's almost as if you understand through your own emotional maturity and intuitive side that it's not your responsibility to heal somebody's pain and heartbreak. That they may be healing their own heartbreak and going through a healing process. And that your interference is not welcomed nor needed, or that it's not incumbent upon you to put a band-aid over the bullet hole. What else? It's a strength of yours to remain detached. It's a strength of yours to remain detached in those situations. And you intuitively know when it's important to provide the support and when it's important to withdraw so that people can for lack of a better term, figure that shit out themselves, right? Like when it's no longer your responsibility to be their emotional crutch. Truth. There's a truth here. Aquarius energy, I always believe this to be Libra, but it's fine because it is Athena's sword. The truth is attached to Taurus energy. You got Taurus and Libra all over this, but it's attached to a collapse of a highly structured religious organization or institution, something that had a hierarchy, something that was linked to philosophical beliefs or religious beliefs, or like a belief system of sorts, a firmly established belief system, and a feeling as if someone is detached from their belief system, or as if they've had the carpet yanked out from underneath them as far as their beliefs go. So there's a truth about that. There's a truth about the collapse of that, or a truth about something no longer being able to believe in something for what it was, or this traditionalist or philosophical belief, or that something was a solid institution or organization, religious or otherwise. There's a truth about how that was the structure no longer exists, or it's falling, or there's a collapse of sorts, but there's truth in it. It's like the only truth was it was a lie, or that it was not something that you could follow. There was truth in its collapse. Where there's truth about the collapse. And that could either be seen as a challenge or an opportunity, because when things collapse that have been firmly established or are from an old world system that the Hierophant in particular speaks to, it provides, an opportunity for people to build on a new foundation, as opposed to things that are already established long ago. They can reinvent. They can invent something for the first time. They can innovate, as opposed to reinventing the wheel consistently, right? And so it was like almost like the truth is that the collapse was a necessity, so that new things could be born out of the ashes. Moving forward is something that I'm calling the staircase. These are your next steps towards either, the heights of, the balcony, or the depths, which would be the basement, which will come after. These are also going to signify root markers and symbolism that you can look out for during August that are significant for you. Aries, what will those be? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. Okay, we have 2 thus far. We only need 1 more. So let's see what those will be. So we have conflict in the Five of Wands with the Two of Cups. There's conflict over two individuals meeting and breaking bread or meeting for a drink. That's direct translation. It could also be the meeting of minds, but it's an emotional connection where two individuals are meeting together, where they see eye to eye, or where there is a bond that is formed and there's conflict associated with it. Tell me more. And normally in the Rider-Waite Tarot, it's quite significant conflict, because in the Rider-Waite Tarot, we see it as a bunch of dudes with sticks beating each other over their heads. So you know, it's an argument. It's big time conflict, you know. Again, it's either there's the conflict, and then somebody, as a result of the conflict, emerges from the conflict and goes and meets with somebody and breaks bread with them or has a drink with them after the conflict, or the conflict is the result of meeting with somebody and breaking bread with them, having a drink with them, going out for dinner or having a drink with somebody, and the result is conflict, or vice versa. The result of the conflict is that somebody goes out and has a drink and a meal with somebody else. Okay. So that's either going to contribute to you elevating to a new level, or backsliding to a previous level that you should have already evolved from. Something about fox here, a fox, or somebody calling you a fox, or a silver fox, or a foxy lady, or something like that. And then also, what I see when I see this, I think there's something about, I think it's Khalil Gibran. He has this whole thing where he wrote up about the cypress and the ash, or the cypress and the oak do not grow in each other's shadow, or some shit like that. Because you see how those trees are intertwined, right? You could also see an ornament, a heart ornament, hanging in a window somewhere. Random. Okay, what else? What else for those staircases and next steps for you? Root markers, what do we got? For Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And you know, the conflict could also be external to a connection here. So it could be that you're rehashing the conflict that you've had with somebody external to this connection, and you're kind of venting about it during having a meal with your loved one, or a family friend, or a family member, or a friend, this doesn't have to be lovers. I know that a lot of the time we always think that it's lovers, because the cards always, exude so much romanticism, but it doesn't necessarily have to be that way. We just know that it's a meeting of the two, and that it either follows the conflict, or the conflict is a result of the meeting of the two. The two people getting together, right? Let's see what else. What else, Aries? Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. Oh, that could have been a thing. It probably would have been just a card vomit, but Aries. And if you didn't already know, I'm doing shorts now, 1 minute shorts on Saturday or Sunday. So haven't quite decided. I kind of like randomly do. I haven't decided what I'm going to do for this one. But last week was Oracle. I did an Oracle pull from the Seed Sickle Oracle. And the first one I did was just a 3-card draw from the Rider-Waite deck. So we'll see. We'll see what I do this time around. Probably be like the Book of Answers or some shit. Anyway, let's see what else we have here. Come on. Am I going to have to pull one for you? Let's see. Okay, we got one. We got a flipper. Three of Pentacles. Okay. It could be about an offer, chat about an offer, about how, okay, so response could be, we're just friends. Because this is also about friendship. It could be that you're meeting up with a friend to chat over a conflict, but I heard we're just friends. It's almost like that's one of the things that's said. Normally, I don't really I see this as the friendship card, the Three of Pentacles. Or you come away from the meeting of the two saying that you're just friends or excusing it as being just friends. But I like I said, I don't always see the Three of Pentacles. In fact, I don't commonly see the Three of Pentacles as a friendship card. I either see it as an offer, as in a contract, the beginning of a contract in between three individuals, or where friends are entering a contract together. Or an agreement of sorts, or I see this as the union of mind, body, spirit, the harbinger of the need to connect mind, body, and spirit, or unify mind, body, and spirit within an individual. Like you're dedicating too much time to fitness, or too much time to your spiritual pursuits, or, you know, one thing is off, and so it's time to get back into that perfect union of the three. But that was the first thing I heard was, we're just friends. There's going to be some conflict here about two people meeting and breaking bread or having a drink together, and somebody's going to say that. You could be the person who's engaging in conflict with somebody because somebody else did that. They could be saying that to you. In which case, if that is the case, then it is about you working on yourself, focusing on yourself. Turn the focus inward. Which is always going to be what this card means to me. Turn the focus inward and evaluate where you can focus on one of the three aspects of self that is neglected at this time, right? Anyway, basement or balcony, let's see what your spotlights are. And that's what I'm calling these, the spotlights. Either the basement or the balcony. Are you going to be backsliding, or are you going to be elevating yourself during August? And how does that look for you? Two cards on this, Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. We still had one that stayed. The Chariot. I can't remember. I think that Virgo had this as well, but I think they had it in their staircase. This is travel, change of address, progress forward. Could have to do with a car. But I always take this as my relocation card. So change of address could be imminent for you. Cancerian energy here. But it is about we move forward. We progress forward. Dedicating your time towards forward progress, motion. Again, this is a Cancerian card. So you could be looking towards Cancer season to travel somewhere or to relocate to a new place. It doesn't necessarily have to be a new city. It could just be changing houses. You know what I mean? But it is forward movement. Yeah. What else? That's too many. Yeah, another one, Seven of Pentacles in the reverse. So, so your elevation, of course, is movement forward progress, travel. But in particular, more than likely, a change of address, changing homes, an upgrade in a home, perhaps, where you have to move homes because your current home is too old, or where you have the ability to change to a new place because your current place just isn't what you want anymore. This is your basement, where there was no appropriate investment, and so the fruit on the vine is dead, for lack of a better term. So this is just where you didn't put in the appropriate investment in a venture that required your time, effort, energy, or a material investment of sorts. And so now when it's time to go for the low-bearing fruit, it's not there, or it's dead, or it's sour, or it's rotten. And so it's where you're seeing where the things that you did put your energy to were not the appropriate things. And so you're starting to see where the investment is paying off and where it isn't. And it seems that the place where you're looking to see validation in your investments wasn't where you invested your energy. Okay. So the top of the tower here is what I call the flag. It's one final card, and it is your key takeaway, is what you could think of it as for August. So what is Aries' key takeaway? Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And you could actually have to travel or move because you didn't invest appropriately. You didn't invest your energy appropriately in the right things, or your focus was off, or somebody else didn't invest their energy appropriately, time appropriately, effort appropriately, what have you, you know. So we have two cards here. We have the Tower in the upright, Scorpio energy. So it could be during Scorpio season that you get this, but there is something unexpected that's going to occur. And it could be the collapse of a structure, of course. However, this is something that's kind of, you see the lightning there? It's more of an unexpected event. It's not a time to take risk. You see with the Fool there, the Fool often, this is your card, by the way. The Fool is represented, it represents rather the human in all of the archetypes in the major arcana of the tarot, and the human's journey through life. And so the Fool also, because he represents a human, represents the journey of risk-taking and adventurousness for the purposes of learning. So what this signifies to me is that there is a collapse of an institution or a structure that is rather unexpected. You're not going to know that it's happening, or you're not going to know what's going to hit you. It's a lightning bolt. It is a tidal wave. It's something that just doesn't happen every day, because lightning never strikes in the same place twice. It's probably going to happen during Scorpio season. So mid-October to mid-November. And it's going to be quite a shocker. Now, just because oftentimes we look at cards like this and we think calamity, doesn't mean that it's not necessarily in your best interest for this to happen. Sometimes things don't happen for us as a way of things happening for us. Trust me on that, you know. Sometimes things are removed from our path so that other things can be placed on our path, you know. So don't necessarily think this is all dark doom and gloom. There are reasons that, you know, things sideswipe us in life, and that's important, you know. But you're also seeing this as a moment in time where you may feel completely disconnected from yourself. You might not be feeling like yourself. You could also be feeling as if it is not a time for risk-taking or adventurousness. You might be feeling as if it's important to be practical and prudent and cautious, as opposed to an adventurous individual or a spontaneous individual. But more than anything else, you're not feeling as if you're not feeling connected with yourself during that time. And it's because you can't be that fiery, inspired individual with that, like, you know, that inner fire when this kind of shit is happening, you know. So, all right, let's get some no bullshit advice for you, Aries. Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. And then we'll be done. Rebel deck. Did I say Aries or Aquarius? Sometimes I screw up. I accidentally say Aquarius instead of Aries, and Aries instead of Aquarius, but it's an unexpected event that leaves you kind of reeling and totally like you don't know what's up and what's down anymore. Like you're just discombobulated, you know. You thought your sense of, you're disoriented, you know. Okay, let's see. Aries, advice for Aries, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus. What do we have for August 2025? What can you offer for Aries during this time? Okay, you are loved. You are here for a reason. Don't fuck it up. Well, that was super direct. There's nothing else that fell out here, so that's that. Thanks for watching, Aries. If this made sense to you, give it a thumbs up. And if you're not yet subscribed, feel free to do so. And like I'd mentioned before, you can definitely wait for the shorts. They'll be out tonight or tomorrow, probably tonight because I'm working from home tomorrow. So we'll see you when we see you next, and thanks for watching. Okay, bye.